chess friends, hope you are doing well. In this video, I'll be showing you a game where Hikaru played 6 brilliant moves. Usually, I focus on White's perspective in chess videos, but this time, we'll see the game from Hikaru's view. Just enjoy watching without asking questions or paying attention to the sidebar. Ignore whatever other content you usually watch on YouTube. Before we start the video, I'd like to share a chess puzzle with you. It's today's puzzle, White to move and win. Try to solve it and share your answer in the comments. So let's go. It starts with d4. In 2015, Hikaru Nakamura was the second highest rated chess player globally. He was renowned for his skills in speed chess, ranking number 2 alongside Magnus Carlsen. Additionally, in slow chess, he also held a top position. This period marked the peak of Hikaru's career. In the game discussed, he employed the King's Indian defense, an opening strategy that, by 2023, grandmasters tend to avoid due to its complexity and challenges revealed in the computer analysis era. The King's Indian defense often led to positional challenges for Black, including limited space and struggles to execute planned moves, especially as White tries to restrict Black's options. This difficulty made it a less popular choice by 2023 and onward. However, in earlier times, many players experimented with this opening, and Hikaru Nakamura stood out as a master of the King's Indian defense. Showcasing his unique expertise and skills in handling its complexities, Hikaru Nakamura had an exceptional understanding of the King's Indian defense. While it may sound exaggerated, his mastery was akin to knowing the opening better than it knew itself. In the game, the main line continues with bishop e2, and Black's plan is to advance with e5. Some less adventurous players with White might capture the pawn, leading to a series of exchanges and often resulting in a draw. In chess, there's a move that can take away the excitement from the game, but it's not the best for gaining an advantage. Players often choose to castle instead, while Black aims to provoke the move d5. To illustrate this, think of the scene in the final battle of Harry Potter between Harry and Voldemort, where they jump off the balcony together, saying, "Let's finish this the way we started it, Tom," together. Knight c6 followed by d5 is indeed like closing the cage in chess. It's a strategic move that sets up a strong defensive structure for Black. In chess, Knight e7 sets up a plan for Black to launch attacks against White while also defending crucial areas. The knight strategically deals with White's threats while preparing Black's counterattacks from a solid position. In the game, after moves like bishop e3 and f4, Hikaru Nakamura is aggressively advancing his pawns forward, aiming for a direct attack on Wesley So's king. On the other hand, Wesley with the white pieces is opting for a more strategic approach, trying to gain space on the queen's side and create weaknesses in Black's position. He plans to bring his knight into play and potentially trade off Black's strong bishop, which is a key piece in Black's attacking plans. Meanwhile, Black, represented by Hikaru, is focused on checkmating White's king or facing the risk of losing. Hence, Hikaru plays g5 to further his aggressive intentions. The King's Indian defense is a familiar territory for Hikaru Nakamura. He's likely encountered this position hundreds if not thousands of times during practice or training. After the knight moves to d3, which is a standard move, b4 and c5 are expected to follow. In this situation, Black has options. Hikaru chooses to play knight g6. A move that some computer analysis criticizes as inaccurate, but that criticism can be disregarded. Exactly, Hikaru Nakamura's preparation likely involved using a more advanced chess engine than the one being referenced. Moving on, after Wesley's move, Hikaru plays knight f6. Following the plan we discussed, Wesley then brings his rook into play, prompting Hikaru to respond with rook f7. There are two main reasons for this move. Firstly, it helps defend the c7 square. If White follows a certain sequence and then plays knight b5, c7 is already defended because Black can play a6. However, if Black doesn't play rook f7, then White can launch an effective attack with h5, capturing pawns and bringing the knight to b5 before Black can respond. This shows the critical importance of Black's bishop in maintaining the strength of the attack. So, the seemingly unusual move rook f7 is actually a clever and strategic move by Black, preparing to involve the rook in the attack. Subsequently, Wesley plays king h1, Wesley responds with king h1, and then Hikaru plays h5. This leads to an exchange of pawns with takes, And now the position is set. Moving on, Hikaru plays a6, prompting Wesley to move his knight to a3. At this point, Black has gained an advantage for the first time in the game. However, in chess, having an advantage doesn't always guarantee an easy win. Sometimes, proving and capitalizing on that advantage can be challenging. In the King's Indian defense, if Black gains an advantage, it often leads to a decisive advantage because of the aggressive nature of the opening. This means that once Black is in a better position, it's very difficult for White to recover. To explain this concept, I once used the phrase, "You can't stop an avalanche with a horse," in a video, but honestly, that's just a metaphor to highlight the overwhelming force of a winning position. In simpler terms, if Black's pieces reach key squares, the game becomes very difficult for White to salvage. After b5, White's knight is left with limited mobility, making it challenging to rejoin the game effectively, while moves like knight b4 or knight c6 are possible. Hikaru Nakamura's focus remains on attacking White's position aggressively. The strong pawn structure created by b5 makes it difficult for White to break through. In response to this, Wesley plays rook c6, aiming to apply pressure and create counterplay against Black's position. It's important to note that a move like bishop e7 isn't a big concern for White because sacrificing the rook for that bishop could be beneficial, as the bishop plays a crucial role in Black's attacking plans. Moving on, Hikaru makes the move g4, which is a logical continuation of his aggressive strategy. For those who might be feeling bored or haven't witnessed the 6 brilliant moves yet, it's worth highlighting that achieving such brilliance, especially among top-level players, isn't common in the early stages of a game. Even if one player blunders or hangs a queen, it's unlikely to result in 6 brilliant moves, as chess analysis tools don't reward brilliance for defeating an opponent already in a losing position. Hikaru continues his attack with g4, prompting White to play queen c2. Hikaru responds by moving his queen to f8. The brilliance in chess doesn't come from defeating someone who's already lost, it's about making brilliant moves when the game is evenly matched. To quote Chael Sonnen, a well-known mixed martial artist and commentator, beating someone you're sure to defeat is like bullying. There should be a level of uncertainty for it to be competitive. In the game, White plays rook c1, Black responds with bishop d7, and then White moves rook to c7. Wesley is holding on to the hope that a potential sacrifice might help, but Hikaru's position shows that the attack has indeed arrived. If Wesley plays h3, Hikaru will take because otherwise, the attack would lose momentum. Instead, h3 would only give an aesthetic appearance but slow down the attack significantly. On the other hand, the g3 square becomes vulnerable, allowing for moves like knight h5 and knight g3, followed by the rook coming down to create a very threatening situation for White. So, Wesley played g4, and this marks the beginning of a series of brilliant moves from this point forward. Firstly, after Wesley plays f takes g4, Hikaru doesn't immediately recapture the pawn. Instead, he plays f3, setting up a tactical idea to capture the rook. This move isn't considered a brilliancy yet. At this point, Hikaru is down 2 pawns. However, now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Hikaru makes a brilliant sacrifice by capturing the knight, marking the beginning of a spectacular sequence of moves. The plan is that after the move f takes e4, the rook on f1 can't be captured because it's checkmate. If the king goes to g2, it's in big trouble and can be hunted down. So, even though the knight on e4 can be captured, Wesley chooses not to do it. But that's okay because in this position, after sacrificing the knight, Hikaru also sacrifices the rook with the move rook takes f3. These are 2 excellent moves. And there are still 4 moves left. This player has just made 2 extremely clever moves in a row, which is rare to see, and guess what? He has 4 more moves planned. He's not finished yet. The move rook f3 can't be captured because the queen on f3 can't block or capture the rook. Then after king g1, bishop e3 comes, leading to a quick checkmate. Rook f3, that's 2 moves. Now Wesley captures the bishop. The most amazing part about the move rook takes f3 is that it not only sacrifices a knight and a rook but also a bishop. There's a bishop just hanging there, and Wesley grabs it, now having 3 points more material than before. That's wonderful because if you didn't capture my rook when it was on f3, maybe you would consider capturing it now that it's on f1. 3 fantastic moves that cannot be captured. After king to g2, with the bishop now eyeing the rook and the king directly, Hikaru makes the move bishop to e3, that's 4 great moves in a row. The purpose of bishop e3 is to prepare for rook g1 check, and the bishop cannot capture the rook because if it does, the pawn sneaks in. The only option is to move to another square. Then, there's queen f3 check, and knight g5, completed. Call for assistance. 4 outstanding moves, bishop to g3, everything is focused on each other. Wesley is aiming to sacrifice pieces. Clearly, Hikaru can't capture on g3 because then the rook would capture back, halting the attack. So instead of capturing on g3 with the h-pawn, Hikaru chose h takes g3. That's 5 incredible moves, 5, and there's one more move left. What's the plan? Well, here's the plan, everyone. After rook takes f1, since the pawn has moved from h4, knight h4 check is possible. The king moves and then it's time for the decisive move, queen to h6. Hikaru is currently down 5 points in material, though some argue it's closer to 10 considering the rook hasn't even moved yet. To avoid various brutal checkmates, Wesley's only option is to play g5, then comes knight takes g5, followed by king to g4. Now, you might wonder about the 6th brilliant move. Well, Hikaru isn't just sacrificing bishops and rooks, it's knight to f3. The idea behind this move is that if the knight is captured, it leads to a crazy checkmate. What a checkmate on h3, even if the rook captures the knight, the result is the same. Additionally, I've completely blocked all your pieces now, I'm just threatening this. There are a few ways you can try to escape, for instance, playing knight to f2, then, Hikaru ends the game with great precision by playing queen to h4 check, king to f5. And the rook joins in, rook f8 check, king to g6, sacrificing the rook once more, and then king takes f6, there's a double check with the knight and the queen, leading to king g6, and finally, queen g5 checkmate. Aren't you glad you watched the entire game? Hikaru made a series of brilliant moves in this game, starting with h4 then f3, followed by knight e4, rook f3, rook f1, and bishop e3, after that, capturing here, walking the king out to the edge of the board, and sacrificing the knight led to a brutal outcome for the white king. It was indeed an impressive win with 6 brilliant moves in one game. Some of us may not experience as many brilliant moves in a whole year, let alone a lifetime. I'm glad you watched the full video, it was truly impressive. If you liked what you saw, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and you can visit to my other channels as well. Bye for now, see you next time.